Rosetta.
Sweet Loretta Fat, she thought she was a cleaner, but she was a fryer.
Hello and welcome to this video where I'm going to be ranking my least favourite to my favourite Beatles album. Now, I just want to say straight off the bat, a lot of the times when you see these videos, people will take into consideration the influence the album had and the technology they had at the time and all these other variables. I'm not going to be doing that. This is a list based purely on my own opinion. By that I mean how much I enjoy listening to the album, how much I enjoy the songs on the album, how many of the songs on the album I actually enjoy listening to, and if I was going to be listening to the album from start to finish, what would be my favourite. That is all I'm going to try and do. It's all my opinion. I'm going to try my very best not to take any of these other variables into consideration. So in saying that, please do remember, this is just my opinion. So my least favourite might be your favourite. That's absolutely fine. That's not a problem. And everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Let me know down below. But without further ado, let's get straight into my number 13. So there are going to be no surprises here when I say my number 13 is Yellow Submarine. I think everyone saw that coming, and again it's going to be for the same reason as I think everybody gives, and half of this album isn't the Beatles. It's George Martin's score for the film, which is in no way bad music at all, but it's not the Beatles and it's not what you're looking for in the Beatles album. The songs we have on here, Yellow Submarine, that's good, but obviously that was included in the Revolver album, so we're not getting anything new there. Only a Northern Song, it's not fantastic. It's not terrible, but it's not fantastic. All Together Now, I enjoy that song. I think that's quite a good song. Hey Bulldog, I very much enjoy that song. I think that's a very good song. It's All Too Much, again, it's not terrible, it's not fantastic. All You Need Is Love, however, again, is a very good song. But other than that, the rest is all just the score from the film. So it's pretty obvious why it's in number 13, but not a bad album. Moving on to my number 12, we have With the Beatles. Now, I do enjoy this album, and I enjoy a lot of songs on this album, but there's a few songs that, I could miss. They're not terrible, but they're not fantastic. You've got songs, however, that are very good. It Won't Be Long, All My Lovin', Till There Was You. So there's some great songs on here. But then there's some others I don't really care for. Little Me, not fantastic, not my favourite. Hold Me Tight, again, not fantastic, but it's not a terrible album. I'd still place it above Yellow Submarine, just for the factor of, again, it is a full Beatles album. Obviously there's a few covers in there, like Roll Over Beethoven. But overall, it's not my favourite, and that's why it's in number 12.
Close your eyes and I'll kiss you.
In 11th place, we have Beatles for Sale. I kind of surprised myself with this one because a lot of lists, people normally rank this just after Yellow Submarine. Normally, the average is Yellow Submarine is last, and then you get Beatles for Sale. However, upon actually going through the albums and looking at them, I realised I kind of enjoy more songs on Beatles for Sale, and I enjoy listening to that one more than with the Beatles, which is obviously what we had before. You got great songs, No Reply, I'm a Loser, Baby in Black, I'll Follow the Sun, and even some of the covers that people don't particularly like, Mr. Moonlight, I actually really enjoy that song. Again, you've got 8 Days a Week, another great song, so there's not a lot on here I don't enjoy listening to, which is why it's in number 11. In 10th, we have Help. Now, Help, I really enjoy this album. There's a lot of good songs on here. Listening to it from start to finish is absolutely fantastic. But the only reason it's this low down is I just enjoy the others more. There's not a lot to say about this. There's got some good songs. Obviously, title track, Help, it's a brilliant song. Got songs like I've Just Seen a Face, which is one of my personal favourites of all time. Obviously, Yesterday, that's a fantastic song. But it's just not, for me, as enjoyable as some of the later albums or even the next album coming up. Now in ninth place, we have A Hard Day's Night, which again surprised me because when I was originally writing this list, I kind of did a rough idea based on what I expected it to be before looking through the albums and actually listening to the songs. And I actually had this before Help. I had Help a bit higher. But then when actually looking and listening, I realised I actually enjoyed this album a bit more than Help. There's just, for whatever reason, the songs on it I just enjoy listening to more. I mean, there's not a lot on here I don't like. We've got Hard Day's Night, a good song, I should have known better, a good song if I fell, good song. I'm Happy Just to Dance With You, a good song. And I Love Her, a great song. Can't Buy Me Love. So there's a lot on here, a lot of really good songs. And I think people will agree with me when I say it is a good album overall. You can't really fault it. In 8th place, we have Magical Mystery Tour. Now, I do really enjoy this album. There's some great songs. Magical Mystery Tour itself, The Fall on the Hill, Your Mother Should Know I Am the Walrus. Obviously, we've got Strawberry Fields and Penny Lane. Two very, very good songs from John and Paul there. But it's not any higher because I just enjoy other albums more. I mean, there's a couple songs on here. Flying, obviously, I'm not a big fan of that. It's not a great song. Blue Jay Way, which is obviously one of George's, is one of the... There's not many songs that are too kind of, for lack of a better word, psychedelic maybe. There's not that many songs that the Beatles made that I don't like. This is one of them that I don't like. However, it's just too far that way. There's just something about it I don't enjoy listening to. Maybe if I listened to it more, I'd grow to like it. But as it is right now, it's not my favourite. But the other songs on the album, I can't really fault them. In 7th place, we have the Beatles' first album, Please Please Me. I really enjoy this album. There isn't really a song on it that I don't enjoy, that I don't like listening to, and listening to this album all the way through is a very nice experience. It just sounds like raw, unedited Beatles music, which is what it is. I mean, I know I said I would try not to take any other variables into my decision, and I'm not really using this as a reason as why it's so high, but it's just why I think it's got such a good sound. Is obviously they recorded this in one day. There's not a high level of production on it. It is just the Beatles performing. It's how they would have sounded, and it's why I enjoy this album so much.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And in 6th place, which might surprise a few people, we have Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Now, I said I wasn't going to take any variables into account other than my own opinion, which is why this isn't as high as maybe on some other people's list. Yes, it was a very influential album for the time, and the things they did with the technology they had, fantastic. But I'm not taking that into account. It's my own opinion on the songs and how I enjoy them. Now, there's a lot of songs on here I do enjoy, and obviously one of my favourite songs of all time is on here, Day in the Life, fantastic song. The Sgt. Pepper's Reprise, I very much enjoy that. When I'm 64, She's Leaving Home, that's a fantastic song. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, obviously a brilliant song, even with a little help from my friends. Ringo's song, the album has some great songs on it. However, there's a couple on here that I could miss. Getting Better, it's not my favourite. It's not fantastic in my opinion. Lovely Rita, again, I could miss it. Same with Good Morning, Good Morning. So that's why it's not maybe quite as high as on other people's lists. But the songs on here that I do enjoy are very, very good songs. Right, we are now getting into my top 5. These 5 albums, it was very difficult for me to actually put them in an order, and the order changed around quite a lot, which surprised me. However, I just want to say before I get into these top 5, I love every single one of these albums. I mean, I love all albums on this list, I really do. But these 5 are my top favourite, and picking between them was actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. But without further ado, number 5, Let It Be. Now, this album obviously is coming to the end of the Beatles. It was produced by Phil Spector, so it's got a bit of a different sound maybe, but I still really enjoy all the songs on this album, and I actually enjoy the talking, I suppose, the talking from John or Paul that you get in the beginning of some songs. So like Get Back, you get Paul saying blah blah blah, whatever he's saying. There's another song with John, I think it might be Two of Us, maybe, I can't remember off the top of my head, where he's talking. I just enjoy those little snippets of audio before the song starts, and I enjoy all the songs on here. Two of Us is a good song, Dig a Pony Across the Universe is a great song, I Me Mine, which is George, I really enjoy that song. Obviously you've got Let It Be on this album. The only two songs on here really that are a bit iffy is Dig It and Maggie May, but even those for me, they're not enough for me to put this album any lower. Do you know, I can still listen to them and enjoy the album. Obviously you've got The Long and Winding Road on here, Get Back, For You Blue, again another good George song. So I really, really enjoy this album, and that's why it's a number 5.
I Dig a Pygmy by Charles Hawtrey.
In 4th place we have Rubber Soul. Now this album was really the first album where you could hear the change in style for the Beatles. You could hear the evolution from kind of this Please Please Me early vibe to the more sophisticated vibe we're getting in the later albums. I really enjoy this album. There's again some great songs on here, and I think the only song on this album that lets it down is Run For Your Life. It just doesn't fit the feel of the album. I think a lot of people will agree with that, but other than that you have some great songs: Norwegian Wood, Nowhere Man, Michelle, Girl, In My Life. Obviously there's some fantastic songs on this album, and listening all the way through this album is a really good experience. In number 3 we have Revolver. Now Revolver and Rubber Soul were two I did struggle with which one do I prefer, which one is going to be a bit higher, and I actually had those two a bit higher than they are now when I first did the first draft of this list, but I realised, you know, where they should be in my opinion. But again, this album I really enjoy. I don't think there is a song on this album I don't like. Taxman, which is George's, great song. I'm Only Sleeping, Eleanor Rigby, Here, There and Everywhere. Obviously you've got Yellow Submarine on this album, She Said, Good Day Sunshine for No One, Tomorrow Never Know. The whole album is a really good album to listen to. There's not a song on here that I'd skip. There's not a song on here I'd leave out, which is why it's at number 3. Going into number 2, we have the Beatles' self-titled album, The Beatles, or more commonly known as the White Album. This really surprised me being in number 2. Obviously it's a double album, so we've got a lot of songs to think about. Originally when I made the first kind of draft of this list where I put things where I thought they would be, this was a bit lower. I think it was started in about 5th place. But as I actually listened to it and looked at the songs, and I really realised there's not a lot on here I'd take away. There is not at all. A lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but you get a few people that say, oh, it shouldn't have been a double album, they should have taken these songs here and made it one single album and it would have been perfect. And I mean, that's fair enough, you're entitled to your own opinion. But for me personally, there's not a lot on here I'd take out. I mean, even things like Wild Honey Pie, it's obviously not a fantastic song, it's not revolutionary, but I can listen to it. It's not a very long song at all. So it's really not an issue for me. Obviously you get the track list Back in the USSR, great song. Dear Prudence, great song. Glass Onion, great song. Oobla Dee Oobla Da. Obviously I know there's a few people that dislike that song. I like the song, not a problem for me. Wild Honey Pie, you get Bungalow Bill, again I love that song. While My Guitar Gently Weeps, a great song, one of the best Beatles songs. Happiness is a Warm Gun, I love that song. Martha My Dear, I'm So Tired. Blackbird, Piggies, that's absolutely fine, I don't mind that song. Rocky Raccoon, I enjoy that song quite a lot. Don't Pass Me By, which is Ringo's, I enjoy that song. Obviously then you get I Will, Julia, some great songs, and that's just the side 1. Going on to side 2 is maybe where there's a song or two that I'd give a miss. But again, not really. Birthday, I enjoy that song. Your Blues, I love that song. Mother Nature's Song, great. Mother Nature's Son, sorry, that's a great song. Everybody's Got Something to Hide, I mean, that's not terrible. Sexy Sadie, I love that song. Helter Skelter, great song. Long Long Long, it's a great song. Revolution 1, Honey Pie, even Savoy Truffle, I don't mind. Cry Baby Cry, the only thing which I think everyone could see coming, Revolution 9, is the only thing that I believe lets this album down. It's not a song. It's not a song. We all know it's not a song. It's whatever John was doing. I don't know. He was trying some things out. He was going through something, and that's fine. But it's not a song. And if I'm listening to the entire album, that gets skipped. I'm not sitting there listening to Revolution 9 for 8 minutes or whatever it is, and I think a lot of people will agree with me. And maybe a few of you enjoy Revolution 9, that's absolutely fine. But that is really the only thing I take out of the White Album, which is why we have it at number 2.
Half of what I say is me.
And now we come to number 1, which a few of you will have already guessed, is Abbey Road. I just think Abbey Road is one of the best albums of all time. There's not a song on here I'd take out. There is not a thing I would change about this album. I think it is absolutely brilliant. From the first kind of side, you get Come Together, which is a great song. Something, one of George's best songs. I myself enjoy Maxwell Silverhammer. I know a lot of people may disagree with me, including 3 of the other Beatles may disagree with me on that one. However, I enjoy Maxwell Silverhammer. I like it. Oh Darling, I enjoy that song. Octopus's Garden, I like that song. I Want You So Heavy, I Want You She's So Heavy, sorry, that's a fantastic song. Obviously you get Here Comes the Sun, which again is one of George's best songs, because I love that song. Then you kind of get onto the other side, which is the medley. So we have You Never Give Me Your Money, and then Sun King. Then you go into Me, Mr. Mustard, Polythene Pam, The Bathroom Window, Golden Slumbers, Carry the Weight, The End, and then Her Majesty. That whole run through there goes so quickly for me because it's such a great thing to listen to, that whole medley. It's fantastic. I really enjoy it. It effortlessly just glides from one song to the other. Even Her Majesty being there at the end is absolutely fine with me. I enjoy it. It's only a 30-second little snippet. There's just nothing I thought about this album. There is nothing I would change, and I would so happily listen to this album all the way through without skipping a thing. So there we have my ranked Beatles albums, I suppose. Obviously some of you will agree with me, some of you won't, and that's absolutely fine. Please feel free in the comments to let me know your personal favourites, what you think. This was my first kind of video talking, so hopefully it was okay. Hopefully you enjoyed watching it, and hopefully I've not offended too many people with my opinions. Like I say, they were just opinions. So let me know down below what you think, and let me know any ideas for videos you have in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day.